Welcome back to AR Tales. Today's story is about a girlfriend who told her boyfriend he was out of the picture while assuming she would keep the house that came with him. As you listen, think about the exact moment you would have stopped being polite. Last Tuesday, I was on the floor of my kitchen assembling furniture. Screwdriver in my hand, parts everywhere, trying to make the place feel more like a home. Maddie looked me straight in the eye and said, "Jude, you are out of the picture. My friends think I can do better." It didn't even sound emotional. It sounded like a decision she already celebrated. I'm 32. I work as a branch manager at a local bank in Austin. I own my townhouse, not in a flashy way. I inherited part of it from my dad and paid off the rest over years with a steady, boring salary. Maddie has lived here for 2 years rent-free while she chased freelance photography. Some months she made a few $100s. Other months, almost nothing. I didn't hold that over her. I wanted her to build something. I thought we were building something together. She kept talking, almost excited, explaining how her friends Tara and Brooke opened her eyes. Tara was dating a surgeon. Brooke got engaged to a startup founder. Maddie said I wasn't ambitious enough for the life she deserved. This was the first time she said it out loud, but it wasn't the first time she felt it. You can see it in the way someone looks at your life like it's a waiting room. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just set the screwdriver down and said, "I understand." That calm seemed to confuse her for a second. Then she smiled, this small, smug smile like she had won something. "You should probably start looking for somewhere else to live soon," she said. "But don't stress. I'll need a few months to get my finances situated so you have time." She said that like she was doing me a favor. Like she was kindly giving me time to move out of my own home. I just nodded. "I'll handle everything." What she didn't know was I wasn't shocked. I'd been watching her change for months, watching how she lit up when she talked about other people's boyfriends, watching how she treated our life like a consolation prize. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Not the version you want, the version they just showed you. That night she was on the phone with Tara, already talking about redecorating her place. I let her talk, I let her plan, and I started making plans of my own. Over the next few days, Maddie leaned into her new identity like she was on a stage. She updated dating profiles with pictures taken in my living room. She hosted wine nights with Tara and Brooke, and I could hear them from my home office laughing about how I was a small-town banker with no ambition. It's strange listening to people insult you inside the home you provide. It teaches you a lot about what they think you're worth. Last weekend, she brought a guy home. Ryan, a junior associate at a law firm downtown. I was in the kitchen making coffee when they walked in. Maddie introduced him like I was furniture. "This is Jude," she said brightly. "He's transitioning out." Ryan looked uncomfortable, like he had just realized he stepped into a situation he didn't understand. Maddie didn't notice. She was glowing. While she played house, I stayed quiet and got organized. I started moving my personal things to a storage unit during lunch breaks. Important documents, family photos, my dad's tools, stuff that mattered. I did it slowly so it didn't look like a big event. I didn't want to fight, I wanted a clean exit. On Monday afternoon, I met with a real estate attorney, Patricia Chen. She was calm, professional, and thorough. We went over everything. Tenant rights, occupancy, what I could do and what I should not do. The key point was simple. Maddie had never paid rent. She had no lease. She didn't pay the mortgage or the utilities. She had no ownership interest. Legally, she had been a guest in my home. Then Patricia asked me what my plan was. I told her I wasn't going to sell. I wasn't going to drag Maddie through a public scene. I was going to step out of the picture completely like she asked. So I did something that Maddie never imagined I would do. Through connections at my bank, I found a young couple looking for a place exactly like mine. Michael, an ER nurse, Jenna, a 4th-grade teacher, good credit, stable income, strong references. We signed a 2-year lease. Ironclad. Reviewed by Patricia. They were scheduled to move in soon on a set date, with a property management company handling everything properly. I also put a deposit on a 1-bedroom apartment downtown. Nice building, walkable to work. I'd be out before the new tenants arrived. Maddie had no idea. She was still telling her mom on the phone how she was going to redo the master bedroom once Jude finally gets his act together and leaves. I even overheard her say Ryan wanted to knock out a wall to make a bigger art studio. I stood in my own hallway listening to someone plan renovations to my house like it was already theirs. And the truth is, it didn't make me angry as much as it made me clear. There's a certain kind of confidence that comes from entitlement. It's loud, it's casual, it assumes the world will bend because it always has. Maddie started redecorating without asking. New throw pillows, new artwork. She brought Ryan over more often. She introduced him to my neighbor as her boyfriend and told her, "Jude's moving out soon. This is going to be our place." Our place. That word is easy to say when you think ownership is something you get by staying long enough. A few days before the move-in date, Maddie came home early and saw official-looking property management papers on the kitchen counter. She must have glanced at them, because that night she came into the bedroom almost bouncing. "Jude," she said, "I saw paperwork. Are you selling the house? Like to move on?" Her tone was hopeful. Relieved, I looked at her and said, "Don't worry about it. Everything's being handled." She took that as confirmation of the story in her head. Later, I heard her tell Brooke, "He's finally accepting it. He's selling so he can start fresh somewhere else. It's actually really mature." The disconnect was unreal. Part of me thought I should tell her. Maybe it would be kinder. But then I remembered her words. "You are out of the picture." She didn't ask me how I felt. She didn't ask what I needed. She told me I wasn't enough, and then she tried to keep everything I built like it was a parting gift. So I stayed quiet, kept packing, and let reality do the talking. The morning everything happened, I was loading the last of my clothes into my car. Inside, Maddie was making breakfast for herself and Ryan. He had spent the night again. She was wearing a silk robe, acting like she was christening the house as her new life. Right on schedule, a moving truck turned onto our street. At exactly 900 a.m., Michael and Jenna arrived with Patricia, the property management representative, and the moving crew. They had keys. Clipboards, paperwork, the kind of calm organization that makes it hard to argue. I was in the driveway when I heard Maddie's voice from the front door. "Excuse me, who are you people? Why are you on my property?" Jenna looked confused, but she stayed polite. "Hi, we're Michael and Jenna. We signed a 2-year lease with the property owner. We're moving in today." There was a silence so heavy it felt like the air changed. "What?" Maddie said, her voice suddenly sharp. "What lease? This is my house." Patricia stepped forward with her briefcase and that calm attorney tone that doesn't rise. "Ma'am," she said, "I'm Patricia Chen, representing the property owner. According to our records, you have no legal tenancy or ownership claim to this address. You'll need to vacate the premises today so the tenants can move in." I watched Maddie's face cycle through confusion, disbelief, anger, panic, and then something like fear. She called my phone even though I was standing right there. Her hands were shaking. "Jude," she said, voice cracking, "you cannot do this to me. You cannot just kick me out. This is my home." I answered, still calm. "Hey, Maddie, what's up?" "What's up?" she snapped. "There are people here saying they're moving into my house. You have to stop this." "Actually," I said, "you told me I was out of the picture, so I stepped out. The house went with me." The realization hit her like she'd been holding her breath for weeks and just lost all the air at once. "But I live here," she said. "For 2 years as my guest," I said, "and now I have new guests." Behind her, Ryan appeared in the doorway, looking like he wanted to disappear. He clearly had no idea the house wasn't hers. He looked at her like he was seeing her for the first time and not in a good way. Maddie started scrambling, calling Tara, calling Brooke, calling her sister. One by one, people had excuses. No space, bad timing, not getting involved. It turns out the friends who push you to level up aren't always there when you have to sleep on a couch. By early afternoon, Maddie had packed everything into her Honda and into Ryan's sedan. Ryan looked shell-shocked. I heard him ask her why she never told him the house wasn't hers. Her answer was frantic and messy. Something about how she assumed it wouldn't matter because she thought I would leave it to her when I moved out. That's the part that stuck with me. She didn't think she needed to check. She assumed my stability was something she could claim. Right before she left, she stood by the cars, crying, and said, "I cannot believe you would do something so cruel." I looked at her and said, "You told me I wasn't good enough for the life you wanted. I'm just making sure you get the chance to build that life somewhere else." Then she drove away. That night, I sat in my new downtown apartment. It's smaller than the townhouse, but it's exactly what I need. I can walk to work in 15 minutes. The view of the city is better than I expected. And the quiet feels clean. Michael texted me that they loved the place. Jenna was already planning her herb garden. They were happy, and that mattered to me. I didn't want to burn my life down. I wanted to hand it to people who would respect it. The rental income covers the mortgage and nets me extra each month. I'm putting it straight into savings. About a month later, I ran into Maddie at a coffee shop downtown. She was working behind the counter. That surprised me because she always talked like service jobs were beneath her. She looked tired, older somehow. When she saw me, she mumbled that she should have appreciated what she had. I left a $20 tip on a $5 coffee and told her I hoped she was doing well, and I meant it. I never wanted revenge. I didn't want to hurt her. I just wanted her to get exactly what she asked for, a life without me in it. Sometimes the best response to someone who doesn't value what you bring is simply to take it with you when you go. I'm doing better than I have in a long time. It turns out when you stop trying to be enough for someone who is determined to see you as not enough, you finally get your own peace back. Lesson 1. If someone says you're out of the picture, believe them and remove yourself fully, not halfway. Lesson 2. Entitlement looks confident until reality shows up with paperwork. Lesson 3. People who demean your stability often rely on it more than they admit. Lesson 4. Quiet planning is not cruelty. It's self-respect when someone tries to rewrite your life as theirs. Lesson 5. The right partner won't treat your home, your work, or your effort like a consolation prize. So what would you have done if your partner told you to move out of your own house while planning to keep it? And do you think Jude should have warned her? Or was letting reality hit the only way she would ever understand?